Just moments ago, social media and major news outlets lit up with breaking reports. Beyoncé is now officially pulling away from Jay-Z after shocking court documents were released in Diddy's ongoing federal case.
Now, Jaguar Wright is a well-known whistleblower. She has predicted many of the crimes Diddy is charged with today. Now, as of recent, she had an interview with Piers Morgan, and she did say that Jay-Z and Beyoncé were implicated with Diddy. Now, let me know your opinion on the things she's sharing about Jay-Z and Beyoncé.
I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well.
She's referring to Jay-Z, Sean Carter.
They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will, putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane, unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about.
So essentially what she's trying to say is that Jay-Z and Beyoncé are doing or have done similar things that Diddy is being accused of. What do you guys think about this? You think it's true? You think she's full of it? Let me know down below.
There's just been a shocking revelation from federal authorities regarding a highly private and scandalous video involving none other than Jay-Z and Beyoncé, reportedly taken during a wild party hosted by Diddy. Apparently, during a Homeland Security raid on Diddy's properties, some rather intriguing discoveries were made, including compromising footage featuring numerous beloved celebrities caught in scandalous situations. Speculation is rife that Diddy intentionally leaked this footage to authorities as a form of revenge against the Carters, allegedly due to their perceived lack of support during his legal battles. It seems he's on a mission to embarrass them at any cost. Adding fuel to the fire, an unsettling audio clip allegedly featuring Meek Mill and Diddy has surfaced, courtesy of Diddy's former bodyguard.
For months, there have been whispers around Beyoncé and Jay-Z, but this time it's not just gossip, it's solid. According to sources close to the situation, newly unsealed evidence from court today was the final straw for Beyoncé. These new documents reportedly show Jay-Z had deeper ties to the party scene that's now under investigation, parties that prosecutors claim were far from innocent. Until now, Beyoncé has stayed calm and completely quiet through all of this. But behind the scenes, she's been taking serious steps, both legal and PR related, to protect herself and everything she's built.
A federal judge has ruled the woman alleging she was raped by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs can remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name, but the judge disagreed. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. But the judge also chastising the lawyers representing Jay-Z, accusing them of trying to fast-track the judicial process by repeatedly filing motions to reveal the identity of the Jane Doe to have the case dismissed. The judge, writing in a 5-page brief, that the Carters' lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because the counsel demands it. This latest legal twist coming after the recently filed civil lawsuit by Jane Doe, claiming that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and P. Diddy, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party after the MTV Music Awards in 2000, while an unnamed celebrity watched. Jay-Z has vehemently denied all the allegations, putting out this statement 2 weeks ago, writing in part, "This is a blackmail attempt." The multi-platinum artist, who was 30 at the time, now a business mogul with decades of hits to his name, with songs like Run This Town.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation, pledge your allegiance.
His attorneys have denied everything about Jane Doe's account and pointed to some alleged inconsistencies in her story.
It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true. It's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened.
The judge writing that while Jane Doe can remain anonymous for now, she may be required to reveal her identity at a later date to allow Jay-Z's lawyers to collect facts necessary to prepare for trial.
Oftentimes, when someone is accused of a crime like this, the accuser doesn't want to be named, and if they are forced to be named, we have seen certain people decide to drop the lawsuit altogether.
Morgan Norwood, thank you. And Tony Busby, the lawyer representing Jay-Z and Diddy's accuser, says in a statement to ABC News, quote, "I will say that the coordinated and desperate efforts to attack me as counsel for alleged victims are falling flat. We won't be bullied or intimidated." And we did reach out to Jay-Z and his team, but did not get a response.
Her team, totally caught off guard by how involved Jay-Z might be, jumped into action the moment those court papers hit the internet. Damage control went into high gear, and now everyone online is asking the same question. Is Beyoncé finally protecting herself? Or did she already know more than she ever let on? What exactly came out in court? Federal prosecutors revealed explosive new details, evidence that supposedly links Diddy's infamous party lifestyle to some of the biggest names in music, including Jay-Z. For years, rumors have floated around in private group chats and back channels. Now it's out in the open, documents, witness statements, and even supposed footage showing a very troubling behind-the-scenes world.
So this just in, Diddy allegedly has evidence of Jay-Z unaliving his mistress, Kathy White. And the reason Diddy isn't in jail yet is because he's cooperating with authorities to take Jay down with him. Kathy White was Jay-Z's side piece. Kathy was an up-and-coming industry publicist, fitness, and beauty expert when she mysteriously died at 28. Jay-Z was seeing her on the down low and got her pregnant. So according to a journalist, Kathy was going to tell the tabloids everything for the right price, but Jay found out and got her murked. Diddy is allegedly set to release the details of how Jay-Z unalived his mistress. Jaguar Wright hints that both the Carters might be responsible, but one of them is more responsible than the other, and she wonders if it's possible Beyoncé's temper is a little worse than most people think, and Jay had to clean it all up for her.
Insiders say these parties weren't just celebrity hangouts. Prosecutors are claiming they were carefully controlled settings, often involving manipulation, secret recordings, and exploitation. Some guests, knowingly or not, were filmed without their permission. There are reports that Jay-Z's name shows up again and again in guest lists, security logs, and testimonies from bodyguards. Now, in court, there are accusations that he wasn't just watching, he was involved. This isn't just about his image anymore. It's about his legacy, his business, and maybe even his freedom. Other big names like Meek Mill, Usher, and Jennifer Lopez are also being mentioned. But it's Jay-Z's connection to Diddy that's capturing all the attention. If what's being alleged is true, and Jay-Z was a regular in that world, everything we thought we knew about him changes. Beyoncé kept silent while social media and news headlines exploded. No statements, no posts, not a single public comment. She stayed poised like always. To fans, her silence looked like strength, or possibly guilt.
Now, I bet you want to know why Jay-Z and Beyonce's name keep popping up around the whole Diddy thing. Well, that's why I'm here. Now, first thing you gotta know is when somebody like Diddy gets taken down, things always start out as a rumor. Diddy has had rumors floating around for like decades. Jay-Z had a problem. He's right there in the corner, by the way. Jay-Z has had a few rumors himself, but more like speculation. People see Jay-Z in a picture of R. Kelly, they're like, I guess they both make music. Then Jay-Z with Harvey Weinstein. People are like, I guess they both do business. Then, of course, Jay-Z with Diddy. Now, hold on. Here's the thing. Jay-Z and Diddy go way back. Like back to the days when they were both coming up. So you could say they might just have a lot of respect for each other. But on the other hand, people are like, well, if you've known each other that long, Jay-Z, you must have known what Diddy was on. But Jay-Z has always had a history of keeping quiet, which brings us to Aaliyah. Now, I'm sure y'all remember R. Kelly dated Aaliyah when she literally needed her parents' permission slip to get married. Now, if I remember correctly, her parents got the permission slip and said, marry who? And that's how this whole thing got exposed. Now, a lot of people in the industry actually knew about this relationship because they would work with R. Kelly. They would be in the studio with R. Kelly. Now, according to Dame Dash, who listened closely, was Jay-Z's first business partner and also dated Aaliyah when she was 21. He said this is how it went. He said he didn't want anything to do with R. Kelly because everyone knew what type of timing R. Kelly was on. He looks over at Jay-Z and Jay-Z's out here creating collab albums with R. Kelly. But then he saw why. For starters, everyone had a crush on Aaliyah. People were waiting down the clock until she turned 18. But Jay-Z decided to get a head start. Now, there's absolutely no proof that Jay-Z went after Aaliyah, but people were like, let me see another picture.
Interview. But sources close to her now say she wasn't clueless. She was being careful. Her silence was a strategy. Behind closed doors, Beyoncé had been preparing for this fallout long before Diddy's case hit the front page. Legal sources say her team started doing internal reviews, consulting crisis experts, and reassessing all her partnerships as far back as January 2024.
It's a big week for Jay-Z. His Rock Nation is geared up to produce the most watched live performance of the year, the Super Bowl halftime show. And of course, he was there to cheer on his wife, who took home the coveted award of Album of the Year at this year's Grammys. So in light of all of that, he's also making a surprising move in his ongoing back and forth with Tony Buzbee. Now, at this point, we all know who the Texas-based attorney is. You know, the same one who said that he had more than 100 accusers ready to file lawsuits against Diddy.
After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases.
And of course, we know later that Jane Doe, who is being represented by the Texas attorney, filed a suit a couple weeks after this press conference accusing Diddy of raping her when she was just 13 years old. Then amended that complaint weeks later, adding Jay-Z, Sean Carter's name to that child rape lawsuit alongside Diddy.
That's when the quiet rumors about Jay-Z and Diddy's party scene started gaining momentum. Even though there wasn't hard proof yet, Beyoncé's inner circle reportedly pushed her to start separating her brand and finances from Jay-Z's. The man who was once her power partner was starting to look like a serious risk. In response, Beyoncé began launching new solo business ventures, like a revamped hair care line and exclusive fashion collections, with no mention of Jay-Z or their joint projects. She started appearing alone at events, creating content focused just on herself, and posting in a way that felt stronger, more in control. Fans noticed the shift: less warmth, more power; less partnership, more independence. And while she never said a word, the message was clear: she was setting boundaries.
A female celebrity was also mentioned in that complaint as well. However, her identity has since remained a mystery. Since that happened, first, let me say both Sean Combs and Sean Carter have denied those accusations. Diddy's team said, quote, "In court, the truth will prevail, that Mr. Combs never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor." Meanwhile, Jay-Z made a scathing statement of denial, mainly targeting Tony Buzbee. He said in part, quote, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Buzbee. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny." Now that statement went on to call Tony Buzbee a deplorable human, a man with no valor, and an ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. Now while Diddy sits in a jail cell awaiting trial, by the way, pleaded not guilty to those charges, denies all the accusations made in the various lawsuits.
But the public was still guessing until the court leaks dropped. Once Jay-Z's name officially appeared in the documents, with videos and witness statements tying him to Diddy's parties, Beyoncé's quiet approach turned into full-blown crisis response. Her legal team, which includes some of the top names in the entertainment industry, is now reportedly digging through contracts, assets, and business ties to find anything that could connect her to Jay-Z's mess.
Jay-Z and Tony Buzbee have been going back and forth with lots of motions filed, complaints filed, and accusations flying on both ends. The Jane Doe alleging she was raped by Diddy and Jay-Z went on NBC, where they pointed out consistencies in her account of what happened, including that her father picked her up after the alleged rape. Her father later told NBC he didn't recall that. She claimed she spoke to a celebrity there, but that celeb wasn't even in New York at that time. And photos showed Diddy and Jay-Z at different locations than the Jane Doe described. Now that interview happened in mid-December. By the end of that month, Jay-Z sued Buzbee for defamation and extortion. Jay-Z's legal team has also been pushing for the Jane Doe to not hide under anonymity. And of course, Jay-Z's lawyers have been trying to get his name off that child rape lawsuit or just have it dismissed altogether. Now, a judge ruled that she can proceed anonymously for now, but scolded Jay-Z's attorneys for their combative motions and inflammatory language used against Tony Buzbee. Then in January, a legal petition was filed by a Texas man who is represented by Tony Buzbee, who also accused Jay-Z's lawyers of bribing people to sue Buzbee and his law firm. So a lot's happened. Now in a surprising move, Jay-Z's lawyer Alex Spiro is seemingly softening up on Buzbee. In a letter to Judge Annalisa Torres, the same one who previously scolded him, Spiro wrote, quote, "Dear Judge Torres, we write on behalf of defendant Sean Carter to respectfully request that Mr. Carter's motion for sanctions pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11 be withdrawn at this time without prejudice."
Her public relations team is working around the clock to protect the Beyoncé brand, one built on strength, independence, and empowerment. They're contacting global partners, holding confidential meetings, and sending out crisis communications, making it clear that Beyoncé is not going down with anyone, not even Jay-Z. According to people close to her, Beyoncé was shocked and heartbroken when she saw the full extent of what Jay-Z might be involved in. But she didn't break down, she made a plan. She's worked over 20 years to create an image that's almost untouchable. And now she's not risking it for anyone. Because Beyoncé isn't just protecting a name, she's protecting an empire. For over 10 years, Beyoncé and Jay-Z have been the definition of Black excellence, success, and unity. They weren't just married, they were a global brand, a movement. Together, they mixed music with high fashion, business, and activism. But insiders say that behind the red carpet smiles, cracks had been forming for a while. And now, thanks to Diddy's legal downfall, those cracks are impossible to ignore. According to sources inside both Roc Nation and Parkwood Entertainment, there's been growing tension between Beyoncé and Jay-Z's camps, both professionally and personally. While they've always appeared united to the public, those in the know say they've been operating more like business partners than soulmates for some time now.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop until him and his cohorts are all held to account publicly and legally. The victims, they're not safe. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things. That changes now, Sean. You have no choice. Everyone knows.
Their empire, made up of Tidal, Ivy Park, Roc Nation Sports, Parkwood Entertainment, and other investments, is now under heavy review. Every brand is being checked for risk. Tidal, Jay-Z's music streaming service, has struggled to keep up with Spotify and Apple Music. Ivy Park, Beyoncé's fashion brand, had a quiet breakup with Adidas after weak sales. Roc Nation is now under a cloud due to Jay-Z's alleged ties to the Diddy scandal. In private meetings, concerns are growing. What happens if Jay-Z's issues start dragging Beyoncé's brand down with him? Can she continue to shine while being linked to a man now named in a federal investigation?
I bet you want to know why Jay-Z and Beyonce's name keep popping up around the whole Diddy thing. Well, that's why I'm here. Now, first thing you gotta know is when somebody like Diddy gets taken down, things always start out as a rumor. Diddy has had rumors floating around for like decades. Well, Jay-Z had a problem. He right there in the corner, by the way. Jay-Z has had a few rumors himself, but more like speculation. People see Jay-Z in a picture of R. Kelly, they're like, I guess they both make music. Then Jay-Z with Harvey Weinstein. People are like, I guess they both do business. Then, of course, Jay-Z with Diddy. Now, hold on. Here's the thing. Jay-Z and Diddy go way back. Like back to the days when they were both coming up. So you could say they might just have a lot of respect for each other. But on the other hand, people are like, well, if you've known each other that long, Jay-Z, you must have known what Diddy was on. But Jay-Z has always had a history of keeping quiet, which brings us to Aaliyah. Now, I'm sure y'all remember R. Kelly dated Aaliyah when she literally needed her parents' permission slip to get married. Now, if I remember correctly, her parents got the permission slip and said, marry who? And that's how this whole thing got exposed. Now, a lot of people in the industry actually knew about this relationship because they would work with R. Kelly. They would be in the studio with R. Kelly. Now, according to Dame Dash, who listened closely, was Jay-Z's first business partner and also dated Aaliyah when she was 21. He said this is how it went. He said he didn't want anything to do with R. Kelly because everyone knew what type of timing R. Kelly was on. He looks over at Jay-Z and Jay-Z's out here creating collab albums with R. Kelly. But then he saw why. For starters, everyone had a crush on Aaliyah. People were waiting down the clock until she turned 18. But Jay-Z decided to get a head start. Now, there's absolutely no proof that Jay-Z went after Aaliyah, but people were like, let me see another picture. But apparently Jay-Z wasn't successful and Dame Dash started dating her when she was 21. Now, what does this all have to do with Diddy? It's the secrets. It's the, like what happened to Diddy, making people wonder. Nas came out, well, he technically didn't come out and say this, but while he was having his legendary beef with Jay-Z, he's doing a radio interview and he's saying, it's weird that Jay-Z be working with people that need a permission slip to marry somebody, R. Kelly. But again, rumors, kind of like what was happening to Diddy. But then this lawyer comes out and says, boy, do I got some news for y'all. And here's where it starts to get wicked. Now, he's going after Diddy. Specifically, listen closely, anyone that Diddy might have done something to, or anyone who has watched Diddy do some of these things and stayed silent about it. Now, first of all, the lawyer's taking calls from anyone. So theoretically, anyone could just call trying to get some money saying Diddy did this to me, Diddy should pay me. But in the lawyer's defense, I'm sure he's looking for people with proof. Honestly, I don't know him. He could be trash. Anyway, what he said next is what got people interested. He said, and I got some names. He said some wild names. Some names that will blow your mind. He's selling this. He's saying, yo, y'all finna wild out when you hear these names. I'm not gonna say it now, but y'all finna wild out. So people are like, Now, in Beyonce's case, it's just because she's married to Jay-Z and she's been in the industry for like 20 years. People are like, you must have known something. But that's all people have.
Sources say Beyoncé's team, once deeply connected to Jay-Z's legal and PR staff, is now working separately. Her lawyers are reportedly pushing for a full separation of risk, which means setting up clear legal boundaries between her and Jay-Z's businesses. This urgency picked up speed earlier in 2024 when rumors about Jay-Z's connections to Diddy's parties reached legal teams. Even though Jay-Z hasn't been charged with anything yet, just being tied to the case is enough to make investors and brand partners nervous. Some of Beyoncé's biggest global deals, with fashion labels and drink companies, have allegedly asked for private guarantees that her name and reputation won't be affected by her husband's legal troubles. In billion-dollar branding, reputation isn't just important, it's everything. Even inside Roc Nation, things have changed. Former employees say the once friendly office culture became tense and secretive. One person said, "You couldn't even say certain names out loud anymore." Everyone was on edge. Insiders also claim Beyoncé has stopped attending internal Roc Nation meetings. She's now focused only on Parkwood and her personal projects, films, solo campaigns, and carefully crafted ventures that center only on her. It's a clear shift from the United Front fans used to love, and a strong sign that Beyoncé is now prioritizing her own legacy above everything else. Brand experts say Beyoncé's new public image, clean, solo, and laser-focused, isn't just coincidence. It's a plan. She's showing the world that she stands alone, and she won't be dragged into something she didn't create. Whether she ends up filing for divorce or simply keeps her empire legally separate, one thing's for sure: Beyoncé is drawing a line. Court documents that changed everything? According to reports, prosecutors revealed security logs, testimonies, and video footage that showed Jay-Z showing up again and again at Diddy's now investigated parties. One video reportedly shows him interacting with people who've since said they were manipulated at those events. Security staff testified that Jay-Z wasn't just aware of what was happening, he knew how the parties worked. Whether he broke any laws is still unclear, but the connection alone is enough to damage everything he's built. Sources close to Beyoncé say she was furious when she saw the details. And for someone as calm and controlled as she is, that kind of reaction means something serious. That might have been the moment she realized her name, her brand, and her future were all at risk. What happens next? Is this damage control, or is she getting ready to leave? With the scandal growing, insiders say Beyoncé is already taking steps toward legal separation, not just from Jay-Z, but from everything connected to him. There are even whispers that she's revising their prenup and having private estate planning meetings. Her recent solo appearances? Not random. Every one of them has been calculated and on brand. She rarely shows up with Jay-Z anymore. She's focused on her own work, beauty, film, and her personal legacy. So is she staying, or is she walking away? No one's saying anything officially, but her actions say it all. And this scandal? It's not just about Beyoncé and Jay-Z. This is about a powerful system falling apart. Court leaks tied to Diddy are exposing the secret world of Hollywood's elite, a world protected by NDAs, publicists, and money. For years, stars from music, film, and fashion have moved in the same exclusive circles, untouched by public scrutiny. But now the curtain's being pulled back. More names are being mentioned, some in court, others all over social media. Jennifer Lopez, Meek Mill, and Usher are all being linked. This isn't just a couple of careers falling. It's an entire structure built on secrecy that's now starting to collapse. For Beyoncé, one of the biggest figures in that world, the pressure is on. Her next move could shape not just her own legacy, but the future of the entire industry. It only took 2 minutes for the internet to explode, a power couple to crack, and the entertainment world to feel the shock. The evidence is piling up. The silence is breaking. The illusions are disappearing. Whether Beyoncé is defending her legacy or waking up to a harsh reality, one thing is clear. The game has changed. The masks are off. And in this new era, no one, not even the icons, is untouchable anymore.